Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video, we're looking at the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version of the SH Figuarts BROLY. You guys know the original BROLY was a really nice figure. In fact, he made it on the top 10 list that I just released of the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But this guy has an all-new color scheme, not too drastically different from the original, but in some ways very much nicer, so let's go ahead and get him off the stand so we can take a closer look. This guy stands just about 23 centimeters to the top of his spiky hair, which makes him just about 9 inches. Very large for an SH Figuarts and very meaty. He's a girthy fellow. Really solid figure. It's very nice. Before we get into the rest of the figure though, let's take a look at the accessories. We do have 3 blast effect pieces, which are a really nice translucent green plastic with some kind of shading on them, so that's pretty good. We have a total of 6 hands. We have the 2 fist hands, the 2 blast effect hands, and the 2 kind of gripping hands, kind of like just claw hands. Then we have a total of 3 faces. The default neutral face, the smirking face, and then the yelling face, and they all look really nice. We also have, of course, our SH Figuarts display stand with one upright that can be used for holding the figure, or at least stabilizing it because he's awfully heavy and it can't really be held up by it. And then we have another upright to use with the blast effect parts. And of course the base has an additional hole in it, so if you want to use another upright from a different figure, one of the display stand sets, you can do that. So this guy, as you can see, same BROLY, different paint scheme. Now, because I'm moving across country, all of my imports are boxed up and I have no longer access to them. But due to the magic of digital video, I can still compare this guy to the original. So I'm going to insert either now or at the end, I'm not sure yet. So you'll have to wait and see. There's going to be some suspense, a side-by-side of each of these figures doing a turnaround so you can compare them. But I'll tell you right now, his skin has more of an olive hue to it rather than the pinkish color. His hair is much more green. The red slightly less burgundy. It's kind of well, there's a little bit more yellow in the red. And then the pants are kind of more of a tan here rather than the bluish white. So not drastic differences. This one is generally more accurate to what most people consider the true look for BROLY with the browner pants. So let's just run through the articulation so you guys have an idea in case you're not familiar with the figure. He's a little bit unique in some of the engineering, so it might be interesting for some of you. He's got a double ball hinge for his neck, and the reason he has that, it's to allow for some better posability. Because his neck is so big, you might need to raise it up a little bit in an unnatural way just to move it around and to get it where you want it. It might look awkward at some points, but you'll be able to situate it to be fine. For the shoulder, we have a big ball peg that lets the entire arm move around. It holds it up, and then it can go back down into that position. So that just affords a little bit extra range due to the bulk. It works pretty well. There are some spots where it doesn't really hold position, but if you keep going, it'll kind of snap into place and you won't have any problem. And then we have the disc for the actual ball hinge, which holds the arm all the way up. And you can get the arm using both of them all the way up, no problem at all. So plenty of range of motion. And of course you can rotate the entire thing around. So that's good. You have your bicep swivel right there. Double jointed elbow, which is a little bit bulky due to the nature of the figure, but it works particularly well and it doesn't look too bad. I'm fairly pleased with it. I will say, before we move on, the shading on this guy is very olive, and I'm not sure how much it's showing up on camera. It might look look like it's really dark, look a whole bunch, or it might look really light. Sometimes some colors just don't show up that well. It's borderline excessive, but I think it looks pretty good. It gives him kind of a stylized look. So if you're sitting there thinking about it as we're going, that's my take on it, having it in hand. We just have a single ball peg for the hands, which actually does provide pretty good range. You can move the hands around quite a bit, and then they just pop off for the interchangeability. If you're not familiar with these guys, it's no big deal to swap out the hands. Now, I've heard reports that the original one had issues with paint rub at the wrists and at the boots and things like that, and I never had that issue, and I don't have it with this guy, but I guess it is possible, so just be aware that it could be a problem if you're not careful. His torso has kind of like an offset ball hinge, which allows for it to be lifted up and then leaned forward. It's kind of stiff and tricky to do, but you can, come on. Or you can do that, which I was going to do anyway. I'll show you. He's got a ball peg that connects the torso to the rest of the body. We'll leave that off for now. You can see here The torso can lean forward and back. Now I'm getting it to work just fine. It kind of lifts up in the back, is what I was trying to show you a minute ago. It lifts up in the back to lean him forward so that the whole thing doesn't have to lean forward, and it works pretty well, and you can lean him side to side. You're going to have to play around with it due to the engineering inside, which I can't really show you because it's pretty deep in there and he's so bulky, but it does work. And you can rotate him a little bit on that joint, but what you really want to do for rotation is to use this waist ball peg that you just saw me destroy. You just want to rotate it around that way. And of course, he can lean on that peg also. It just doesn't have really much room due to the sash thing. But you won't have any trouble posing him. He's very bulky, but considering his size, he's very well articulated. This thing has a ball hinge so you can move it around if you want to. This is really the only part of the figure that I really don't like, and that's the whole engineering behind this and the way it's kind of sculpted over instead of being soft pieces that actually did go over. Could definitely be better, but it works out well enough. And we have ball hinges for each of the 3 front pieces. They don't move that well because this piece back here doesn't move at all. So they are very much limited by it. You're going to be able to move them some, but it will end up getting in the way. But you still get pretty decent range. It's really the only limiting factor on his articulation. We have the hinged ball pegs, which we're used to, so you can drop those down and move the hips. The hips are fairly stiff. They're definitely stiff enough for him. They are really only limited by this. They can go out to the side as far as you can force them to go with the skirt. And then we have our thigh swivel. We have a double jointed knee. They did go a little bit nuts with the shading on this one leg. See how dark and glossy that is? That's kind of disappointing. Could definitely look better. The knees are super bulky, but I don't know what else you could have done. And once you pose them, it actually looks really good. So I'm pretty pleased with the knees. I like the way they did that engineering. Hopefully they use that engineering, and it looks like they might for Tien and Yamcha, which I'm still working on getting a video about those guys. The SDCC reveals this year. Kind of a snafu, but we're going to try to work it out, and I'll try to get you some information on those. And then for the ankles, we have a ball hinge. They're fairly limited, though, just due to the sculpt. You can pose them well enough, better than most of the DBZ figures. You get a little bit of an ankle rocker. They can go back, they can go forward, and you get a toe hinge, which is acceptable. It's just kind of limited by the bulkiness. So is it the best figure in the world? Probably not, but it's pretty darn good, and it looks awesome. And I have to say I recommend it. I really like the original BROLY, and this one is a nice addition to the collection, being that it is a somewhat more appealing color scheme. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. Check out the playlist for all the import figures. Check out the top 10 list. Some of those videos are going to be really helpful to you. So make sure you subscribe, guys. And in the meantime, keep collecting.